Let us continually offer to God a sacrifice of praise, the fruit of the lips that openly profess his name. And do not forget to do good and to share with others, for such sacrifices God is pleased. Now, if you don't know, when we come every Sunday, we offer a sacrifice of praise. We come with whatever we've come with, our wonderful families, our wonderful lives, our everything. But Jesus says we come to offer a sacrifice of praise. Let go of everything. What does it mean to sacrifice? It means to let go. To let go and to sacrifice and to give our hearts to Jesus. Because he wants our everything. He is the point. He is life. So let's surrender. We stand before creation. And God gave us everything. He gave us the stars. He gave us the sky. He gave us our lives. So let's just sing this song. You stood before creation. Eternity in your hands. You spoke the earth into motion. Our souls now we stand. We are standing in the presence of God. We feel the presence of God here with us today. And Lord, we just offer ourselves to you. Here I am, down on my knees again, surrendering all. Find me here. Jesus, draw me near. Speak to me now. Speak to me now. Lord as we're worshipping, and I don't know about you, but when we sing those words, I want to know you more, I just get this sense in my heart that Jesus is my friend. And just like any other friend I have, if I really want them to be my closest friend, I want to know more about them. I want to know them more, and I want to be with them. And I kind of felt that real sense that that's what Jesus is to me. He's my friend. And when I come here, I want to know him more. It's just beautiful that Jesus is here for you. He's your friend. And let's just want to know more about him. Let's just want to be with him. And that's what we do in worship.
All right. Well, here we are. I'd like you to open up your Bibles, and we're looking for Matthew chapter 8, beginning at verse 18. I want to ask you a question. Do you feel comfortable right now? You seem comfy? Yeah, you're relaxed? Right? Good? Or maybe not so good. Do you know, when I was on holidays, you know what I loved? I loved the fact that every day was so comfortable. I got to sleep in, you know, I got to wear my daddy clothes. I got to eat leisurely breakfast, read the paper if I wanted, you know, play on my iPad, I could do whatever I wanted, then I'd go for a walk, and it was just no agenda. And I thought to myself, why can't I just import this into my life? Why can't my life be that comfortable? Why can't my life be that good, that simple, that easy? And I started praying, saying, Lord, can't we make my life just a little more comfortable, a little more easy? And I felt God say to me very clearly, yeah, if you want to do nothing with your life, if you don't want to grow, if you want to stay right where you are, yeah, I'll make it easy for you. But that's not what I want for you. Do you know, comfort is the enemy of growth. Comfort is the enemy of change. Comfort is the enemy of learning. Comfort will take us away from growing as a human being to not only becoming stagnant, this is who I am, this is all I do, like me or leave it, but it will rob us of our future. It will steal from us the potential we have been created by God to have. So if you're like me and on your holidays going, I want my life to be easier, it's a mistake. And it is not of God. Let's have a look at Matthew chapter 8. And we're looking at verse 18. When Jesus saw the crowd around him, he gave orders to cross to the other side of the lake. Then a teacher of the law came to him and said, Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go. Jesus replied, Foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. Let's stop there for a minute. The teacher of the law thought that in Jesus was the next best thing. He was the guy who everyone was following. I'm going to get on board this fellow because if I stick with him, he's going to be enthroned in a high place and I'm going to be right there with him. This guy was thinking, oh, there's a gravy train here. And what's Jesus' response? I have no place to go. I have no nest. I have no foxhole. You want to follow me? Understand that you're going to be living out of a tent. You want to follow me? Understand there will be no power other than the heavenly power. There will be no privilege. There will be no great positions and authority given to you by people. You want to follow me? Understand that my kingdom is heaven. Okay, let's read on. Verse 21. Another disciple said to him, Lord, first let me go and bury my father. But Jesus told him, follow me and let the dead bury their own dead. Now people read that, oh, that's mean. What's wrong with that? Surely that's a good thing to go up and bury his father. Understand that it was the son's responsibility to bury the father. This guy probably wasn't dead yet. This guy might have years to live. But in his mind, he couldn't follow Jesus because he had other responsibilities. I'm sorry, Lord, but once my father's buried, I'll I'll have fulfilled my obligations as the eldest son, then I'll follow you. And what's Jesus' response? In verse 22, but Jesus told him, follow me and let the dead bury their own dead. Jesus is saying, if you want to live your life according to the same roles, occupations, principles, philosophies, attitudes as the world, then your life is going to count for the same thing as theirs does. He wasn't talking about dead people burying dead people. He was talking about people who didn't understand the kingdom of God. He was talking about people who did not live for God. He was talking about people who did not understand the higher calling that we are called to. He says, let them worry about it. But you come and follow me and discover life, and a powerful life filled with vision and purpose. You come and follow that. And we're reading that going, oh yes, that would be for sure. Jesus walked through those doors right now, all the way around and stood here and said to you, and I mean you, and look at you, and said, come, follow me. What would your answer be? Don't bring your bag, just follow me. What would your answer be? Anyone brave enough? This morning I've got a few characters in the congregation and they were very helpful. One of them said, nah, my wife would never let me. Another one said, oh, I'm too old. I didn't read that in there. I'm too old, I can't follow you. Another one said, oh, I've got too many things on at the moment. You know what? He's here today. And he's saying that to you right now. Follow me. And what's your answer going to be? Look, Lord, I've got people coming 12. 3 o'clock I've got golf. 5 o'clock. Tell you what, maybe tomorrow. The dead, very dead. If we want to be comfortable, if we want to be a spectator in the kingdom of God, then that's exactly what we'll be. Do you remember the day that Jesus walked into your life? Do you remember that day? Maybe you grew up in the church. Maybe you've always had that. But even if you grew up in the church, I suspect there's a moment in your life that you can find where you made a choice to follow. For yourself. I've got 4 teenagers in my household now. Can I tell you that each one of them, even though they've grown up in a vicar's home, has made their own decision. It had nothing to do with dad, nothing to do with mum. They have made their own decision to follow Jesus. Is that right, son? Yeah, you got it. That's good. It's good. It's made its own decision. What about you? Have you made your own decision to follow Jesus? Now, we think to ourselves, I don't want to follow Jesus because I really don't like sandals. And, I don't like the idea of living on the streets. And, I don't like the idea of having to tell people about my faith. For goodness sake, can you grab that tape out of your head, just pull it out, drop it on the ground and stomp it because it's rubbish. Remember what we said about confession this morning? People say, I'm not good enough. God is good enough. Jesus is good enough. He's the one who's made us good. He's the one who's called us and chosen us. He will not call you to a place that you were not meant to go. God has made you uniquely you. He has shaped you uniquely you. He will use you according to the way He made you to be. Not all of you are going to become vicars, and some of you are probably sighing relief. I didn't want to follow Jesus because I thought He was going to make me a priest. If you follow Jesus, you're not going to become a missionary unless that's your calling. If God calls you and you say, yes, I will follow you, Jesus, you know what He's most likely to call you to? Stay right where you are. But change your heart. Open your heart. Open your mind. If you're following Jesus, this book is suddenly going to take on a new relevance to you. We've just done the NCD, the Natural Church Development Program. Who filled out the NCD this year? Okay. I've got the results for you, and I did have a slide you can show it, but it's not going to do much good because it's pretty hard to read. Keep going. There we go. Okay, next slide. You can't see that. Yeah, it's here. You can't see it very well, but I'll give you an idea. At 9:30, which is what it used to be, the results come on the bottom line, which is basically bad. And then at 10 a.m, most of the results are well above average or high. So we'll go through them in more detail next week. But what that tells me is this. What that tells me is you guys love what's happening here. You guys are energized about what's happening here, and we're growing. You guys are telling us that you love the people, and you have a tremendous sense of belonging, and you have a tremendous sense of being loved. But you know where we performed worst, and where we struggled, and where we've got a lot of work to do? Passion and spirituality. You told me, this is your words, not mine. You told me that the Bible is irrelevant to your life, and you don't read it. That's what you told me. Oh, okay. You know what this tells me? I'll answer this question with a story. And I've got the story from the Alpha tapes. Nicky Gilman tells the story of an older man and a younger man. And they're sitting in front of a fire. And the younger man says to the older man, "What must I do to live my life in a way that pleases God? How do I live it?" And the old man didn't say a word. But he got a set of fire tongs. And he put them into the fire, and he pulled out a hot coal, red hot coal, and he put it outside. And he sat there, and they watched it together. And this red hot coal went brown and black and lost all its warmth. And then, without saying anything, he picked it up and he put it back in the fire. And it went red hot again and glowed bright. Never said a word. You see, as Christians, we have to make a choice every day to follow. If we want to be armchair spectators, then we lose. Because our life will lose the meaning and purpose that you are created to have. You were not created to buy your house at the end of your 60 years and get rid of your mortgage. You were not designed to work 60 years for someone so they could grow a business. You were not designed to have a large collection of shoes in your cupboard. You were not designed to have massive credit card debt. You were not designed to just raise a family. You were created and designed for so much more. Yes, to have a job. Yes, to raise a family. That's part of God's blessing in our life. I love my family. That's the joy of mine. Yes, to have a career. Yes, to have a house. Yes, to have all those things. But if that's all our life is, then we have been robbed. And we've robbed ourselves. Let's open our Bibles again. Alright, we're looking for 2 Corinthians chapter 5. For Christ's love compels us, because we are convinced that one died for all, and therefore all died. And he died for all, that those who live should no longer live for themselves, but for him who died for them and was raised again. So from now on, regard no one from a worldly point of view, though we once regarded Christ in this way, we do so no longer. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has gone, the new has come. All this is from God, who reconciled us to himself through Christ and gave us the ministry of reconciliation. That God was reconciling the world to himself in Christ, not counting men's sins against them. And he has committed to us the message of reconciliation. Alright, if you're reading that and going, well, I'm not sure I understood. Let me give it to you in Stuart's language version. It might help. Paul is saying this. He's saying, when Jesus died on the cross, and he said to you, and I say you, I'm saying to myself, follow me. The moment you said yes, you died on that cross with him. Your old life, when you decided to follow Jesus, your old life died on that cross. And you have been made a new creation. Your old life has been passed away. You have been made whole, you have been healed, you've been cleansed from all sin, you've been made righteous, and now stop living as if you're still dead. Stop living as if you're dead and come alive, because that old life died on the cross. And now God has given you the most important job in the history of all creation. He has given you the ministry of reconciliation. God does not need us. You heard Scott preach about this, didn't you? God does not need us, but He wants us. And He has given to us the job of telling the world who are dead to their sins, in their sins. He has given to us the ministry of reconciling them to Himself. You and I are called to take the good news of Jesus Christ and make it known to the whole world. That is now our purpose in life. Think about this. If you have received Jesus and your life is now eternal, why are you still here? Isn't it finished in your life? Haven't you been perfected by Christ? Why are you still here? Shouldn't He have taken you home? Isn't your purpose, now that He saved you, aren't you finished? You are here still because God has called you, He has chosen you to be His hands and His feet, to be the ministers of reconciling God to people. That is our high mission and our high calling. And how do we do that? Oh, I don't know, it's too hard. I can't talk about my faith. Do you know, we overcomplicate it. We make it a mess. How many of you are feeling guilty right now? Well, I feel guilty. Take that tape out too. Throw it in the station. God doesn't do anything out of guilt. We shouldn't do anything out of guilt. Guilt is rubbish. Guilt is not of God. I was talking with Darren this morning. He said, all my mates, they were going for a ride. And I said, I've got church at 10 o'clock. Talking to Andrew, the rowing. He used to say to me as he's going rowing, I'm off to church now, I'm going to pray for you. How powerful is it when a man stands in his group of friendship, male friendship circle, and says, I'm a man who believes in God, and prioritises God and the family of God, and seeks to love and serve. I guarantee you that in that circle of friends, both Andrew and Darren, when they need a God person, when their life falls apart, who is it they're going to go to? They're going to go to those men. Because they have the courage and the conviction to stand and say, I am for Jesus. They didn't have to preach at them. They didn't have to come up with fancy words. They didn't have to know their Bibles backward. They stood and they said, I am a Christian and I go to church. What a powerful statement for a man to make to a circle of male friends. Now, I'm sure there comes with that some mockery occasionally. Men like to give a bit of a jib. I'm sure there's that occasional mockery. But you know what? We count all that joy because that means we're standing for Christ. I'm sure you've got stories in your own life where God has provided opportunities. Once again, Scott preached about Stephen. Stephen was killed for delivering food and vegetables. How crazy is that? Because he delivered them in the name of Jesus. In the ministry of reconciling people to God. He wasn't really interested in feeding them with just food. He was interested in feeding them with everlasting life. And they killed him for it. And he had to go to court before they killed him. Do you think that he was an accomplished orator? Maybe he'd studied the law. Maybe that's why God chose him. Think about the 12 disciples. Who were they? Most of them fishermen. I don't know how many great orators you've met amongst the fishing community. In fact, if you know any fishermen, it's difficult to talk to them because you've got to spend the whole time like this. I love fishermen. Some of you are still beautiful. We love you fishing. We mistake, when we read the Bible, we mistake people as special that aren't special. We think, I could never be like them. I am not good enough. God could not use me because I'm not good enough. There is nothing true about that statement. You have been lied to if you believe that. And if you continue to say it to yourself, you're lying to yourself. And you're robbing yourself of something truly beautiful and something truly amazing. And that is that God chose you. I want you to open your Bibles again. This time, I want you to open up to 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. Are you ready? Because I'm now talking literally to the same people that Peter spoke to. You are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people belonging to God, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light. Once you were not a people, but now you are the people of God. Once you had not received mercy, but now you have received mercy. What are you waiting for, church? You have been called, you have been chosen, you have been set free from sin. You have been made good enough by Jesus. What are you waiting for? Let the dead bury the dead. Stop making excuses for why you cannot follow God. Stop making excuses for why God cannot use you. You have been called, you have been made a holy nation. God has given you a ministry of reconciliation. Do you know, one of the things that also came out from the NCD, when we talked about the passion of spirituality, was, as I said, this idea that you don't read your Bibles because you don't understand them. The other thing that came really strongly was that you didn't know what your gifts were because you didn't think you were good enough. You know, I've just finished a gifts-based course. We ran here. How to know your gifts. What are my gifts? Like 25 people out of a church of 200. Stop making excuses. If we want to follow Jesus, get active. I do nighttime courses where you can discover God's gifts in your life. People said, oh, I didn't come to that course, I thought I'd get a job. No one at that course got a job. But 25 people now know how God has shaped them to serve. 25 people discovered that God has gifted them in ways they never knew. Their lives are now going to matter in a way they never could before. How many of us say, I don't understand the Bible, so I don't read it? But don't come to a Bible study. I have 12 Bible study groups running here. And you say you don't understand the Bible. Stop making excuses. I'm not talking guilt here. I'm asking you to be inspired. I'm asking you to say, God has chosen me. God has made me special, shaped me uniquely. He has something important for me to do with my life. But we've got to own it. We've got to want it. And we've got to stop believing the devil's lies that we're not good enough, because it's not true. You are good enough. God has chosen you. God has called you. And he wants you. One more, Ephesians chapter 4, verse 17. Verse 17, so I tell you this, and insist on it in the Lord, that you must no longer live as Gentiles do, in the futility of their thinking. Now, Gentiles means non-believers, okay? In the futility of their thinking. They are darkened in their understanding and separated from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them due to the hardening of their hearts. Having lost all sensitivity, they have given themselves over to sensuality so as to indulge in every kind of impurity, with a continual lust for more. You, however, did not come to know Christ that way. Surely you heard of him, and were taught in him in accordance with the truth that is in Jesus. You were taught, with regard to your former way of life, to put off your old self, which has been corrupted by its deceitful desires, to be made new in the attitude of your minds, and to put on the new self, created to be like God, in true righteousness and holiness. Joe, we have been called to think differently, to be different, to live differently, to put off the old way of thinking. You know, if someone were to walk into your life, will they see any difference between you and a non-believer in the way you live? Would they notice anything about your life that's different? Or are you trapped in the same cycle they are? You live your life for pleasure. You live your life around, I don't know, whatever it is, children's sporting events, or shoe collections, or, you know, ski boating, or whatever it might be. Is there any difference between you and a non-believer? There should be. It should be massive. Massive difference. One of the things we do right now sets you apart. The fact that you give up a Sunday morning to be at church makes you different. That's a really strange thing to do. Do you know, God invites us every day to know Him and to live with Him. Yet how many of us give God even 10 minutes of our day? 10 minutes. To seek Him, to pray, to be quiet with Him, to read His Word. Now, if you're saying you don't understand the Word, I'll say again. Come to a Bible study. Take one of my 28-day challenges. It's a great introduction to reading the Bible daily. Sign up to Every Day with Jesus, Word for the Day. There are plenty of tools out there that help you walk with God every day. But Jesus is in this room right now, today, and He's saying to you, I have called you, I have chosen you, you are my people. Now will you follow? Or are you going to go on being a spectator? Is your life going to be comfortable? How many came in here today and saw the seats like this and felt uncomfortable? Excellent. I know I knew. I wanted you to be uncomfortable today. I wanted you to understand, and I want to understand myself, that comfort is the enemy of growth. Do you know, funnily enough, this design has been found to be the most welcoming design for non-church people. Do you know, we are the only organisation that exists for non-members. A church that creates a place that's comfortable for itself dies. And right around this diocese, there are churches dying because they've made it comfortable for themselves. We are to be a people who live and exist to reconcile the world to God. And that means we as a church need to be obsessed with creating a place that is welcoming to the non-believers, the non-churched. And that's what we're going to become. Because I'm speaking that into the life of this church. And I know, when I look at many of you, I know that's what you want. I say today, from this day forward, we will be a church devoted and dedicated to reconciling the world to Jesus. And everything we do will not be for us as members. It will be for the non-members. And I invite you, get on board. There are so many ministries here to reconcile people to God. Farmers markets, an incredible opportunity to reconcile the world. Prime time, it's an event here. If you come to prime time, bring your friends. You know, it's not about what we do, it's about the love people feel when they're with us. We have something truly unique here. We have a community that genuinely loves. And if you invite your friends here, they will belong. And that's powerful. There are so many ministries of reconciliation that happen through this church. Ministry of Trinity types, play groups, cafe, food delivery. So many ministries. Ministries that haven't even been created yet, that God might be calling you to do. But it's up to us. Today we will walk out of here going, oh, wasn't that a nice sermon? I hope not. I hope you go away from the sermon either feeling really uncomfortable and unhappy because I don't like anything Stuart had to say, or you're going to go away saying, yeah, I'm in. Here I come, Jesus. We're going to do it. That's the two responses I want most. And if you say it was a nice sermon, I know you weren't listening. Amen. Our studies are written by pastors and teachers actively growing their local church. These studies have been a blessing to churches across many denominations and around Australia. These 7-week practical studies are designed to meet people in their everyday lives and encourage them to grow in faith. Our prayer is that you or your church will be blessed by growing in relationship with our God through studying His Word. You can purchase these studies individually or for groups online.